Hello, good morning, good day, and evening to you, friends. Welcome to the 33rd World AIDS Day, and thanks for joining us. My name is Gloria Nalule, and together with Hezo Jojo, a young woman leader from the education class, we'll be your moderators for this event. On every 1st of December, the world unites to show solidarity for people living with HIV and remembering all those that have died from HIV-related illnesses. This year, streaming live on YouTube, UNFPA is joined by a group of dynamic, fearless, enthusiastic young women leaders from the Education Class Initiative to commemorate this day. Our discussion will be held in English and some French. And if you're out there and you want to engage with us during the session, please use the chat box to share your thoughts, ideas, and comments. Now, without further delay, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you a powerful story of Her, a Disintegrated Notion by Sikanyisiwe Sebati, filmed in Matabeleland, north of Zimbabwe. And now, the film.
Her, a disintegrated notion. Beautiful, vibrant, alluring, spiritual, delicate, curvy, strong, captivating, intelligent, dedicated, intoxicating. That's her. Yet, gender inequality, poverty, family pressure, gender-based violence, early marriage, and inadequate health options, amongst many other factors, are stopping her from achieving her full potential. About 1 in 3 of her, aged 15 to 49, have experienced physical violence, and about 1 in 4 of her have experienced sexual violence from the age of 15, with 78% of her reporting that their husband or intimate partner was the perpetrator. 32% of her are married before the age of 18, with 62% of her in the school-going age missing school during their period because they lack the necessary sanitary wear. Her maternal mortality rate is one of the highest worldwide, and HIV/AIDS is particularly prevalent amongst her. Her income is generally lower than that of men, accompanied by less job security. She makes up 60% of the population, yet she is underrepresented in decision-making positions, discriminated against on the basis of her biology. Affected most by climate change, weather disasters, and pandemics. The notion of what a woman is here is blurred between what society expects of and portrays her to be and what is real. Her current decisions are based on choosing between her well-being, both physical and emotional, and that of her families. Most times, she cannot have both. Establishing an equal footing in terms of education, health, governance, as well as within financial domains, should be prioritized to allow her advancement in the country. That starts with government being accountable to the women and youth who make up the majority of the population. Pro-female products which facilitate her success and eventually her participation in the country's development are a must.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for that informative and educative video. Hello, everyone. My name is Hazel Jojo, and I'm a young activist from Zimbabwe, and I'm so excited to be part of this platform. If you're excited, please let us know in the chat. So, guys, I'm so excited to be co-moderating, and I hope you're as excited as I am. So before we proceed with our program, I just want to find out from our audience within the chat whether you understand much about HIV. So let us know in the chat, what does ART mean when it comes to HIV? As we all know, today is World AIDS Day, and we are so excited about this day. So let us know in the chat, what does ART mean when we talk about HIV and AIDS? And we'll get back to it. So now, most of you have been seeing much about Education Plus on Facebook, on Twitter, and we're wondering what exactly is Education Plus initiative. And guess what, guys? The chair of the Young Women NEP Center within the initiative itself is here with us. Her name is Jennifer Kayombo, and she's going to come here and tell us a bit about Education Plus initiative, so that by the moment we end this platform, we are all going to be well much versed with Education Plus initiative. Jennifer, welcome. Please marinate us with the information. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Heather. Hi, everyone. I hope we're going to have a very interactive session and learning through each other. I'm very honored to be here on behalf of millions of adolescent girls and young women outside there, and especially in the middle of this two known pandemic, talking about COVID-19 together with HIV. I think and I believe we should all be grateful concerning Education Plus initiative, because it came to remind us that it's so very important to ensure we effectively engage and ensure there's effective participation of adolescent girls and young women, but also collectively coming up with our voices to ensure that we fight against issues or barriers that hinder us to unleash our fully potentials young people, especially in sub-Saharan African countries. We know that a lot of adolescent girls and young women, they're facing a lot of problems, such as dropping out from school, being the victim of gender-based violence, HIV, and etc. So Education Plus initiative, it's all about empowering us to continue advocating on investment, on laws, policies that will make sure that we reduce the spread of HIV, but also ensure that young girls young girls and young women complete their secondary education, and to be much more powerful, to be much more confident, to be much more intellectual, independent, and as young women to be leaders in our communities and make some positive change in our community. So through Education Plus initiative, we are going to be able to challenge the system, including our decision makers, so that they could prioritize our issues as young people, including access of comprehensive sexuality education, youth-friendly services, to be in a community whereby young girls and young women, we are free from gender-based violence, both online and offline. And as adolescent girls and young women, we know that we are most disadvantageous, and this is due to the gender inequality problem that is existing in our community. So Education Plus initiative, through this initiative, we are going to make sure that we improve the environment, but also we ensure there is inclusiveness, there is equity, but there is social justice. I always believe that a girl empowered with resources, opportunities, skills can be able to be a very good agent of positive change in the community. And that is all about Education Plus aspire and aims to do. So I believe now we can all at some point have captured on what Education Plus is and what Education Plus aims to do. Thank you, Hazel, back to you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you so much. That was really amazing. And I'm so excited actually to be part of this amazing initiative. And we thank all the co-sponsors, the 5 UN agencies, for putting young women at the driver's seat. It's now time we shift the discourse and change the narrative. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for that. So guys, before Jennifer came on board, I asked a question. And Gloria, can you please help me to identify who managed to get the answer correct? Over to you.
Thank you, Hazel. And yes, I can happily say that our chat is very active and people seem to know what art is. I'm not going to name names. I see a lot of answers coming in, and we do have antiretroviral treatment and antiretroviral therapy as the 2 answers that have dominated the chat. So over to you, Jojo. What do you think is the right answer to your question?
Personally, I think all answers are correct. This is a fair class. You know, we can't say this one didn't get it right or this one didn't get it right. So this is a fair class. And thank you so much to everyone that has managed to put in their contributions. It actually shows that we know much about HIV. And it's very important to know about HIV, especially this term, since today is the World AIDS Day. Thank you so much, Gloria, for that help. Thank you so much, guys. Keep the chat burning. We want to see the positive energy. We want it. We want it. This is our day as young women. Thank you so much to everyone. So guys, allow me to proceed with the program. So we are also going to hear a very positive and engaging poem from a very inspiring and upcoming spoken word artist from Zimbabwe. Please enjoy this poem. This is very, very dear to me as well. Over.
There is a saying that goes, there is no failure except in a longer trying. It has been and always will be an unending effort in combating against humanity's sworn enemy, AIDS, who has found humor in our pain. This enemy that has proven to be no respecter of mankind, the Grim Reaper's best friend, a cavity that has eroded the enamel of our health system. Like a cherry on top, it has added on to the wealth of the discrimination piggy bank. It is already a universal societal perception that equates being a woman with weakness. Add AIDS to that equation and a woman falls deeper into the sharp claws of discrimination. The same society that depicts sex workers and the LGBTQI+ community as abominable. Add AIDS to that equation and you've got a double-coated layer of fresh-flavored discrimination. Talk about young women and girls who fall prey at the hands of those that wish to cement their virility through vile cultural practices and biased societal conceptions, such as forced marriages, child marriages, rape, genital mutilation. These despicable catalysts of the disease, who seem to be unaware that we are not each other's enemy, but the real enemy is this unflagging disease that has claimed the lives of many, adding on to the riches of the cemetery. It is this insufferable disease that has engaged with COVID-19, talk about capital goals, to annihilate the human race from the face of earth. So let us unite against this player that vowed to never wave the white flag. For united we stand and divided we fall. And if we let ourselves fall, by the time that we hit the ground, the world will be in a state of unredeemable chaos. Let us stand together and fight, but also keep an open mind that having AIDS does not mean being AIDS. To possess does not mean to be. Let us keep on remembering that having AIDS does not mean the end of the world. The only thing that is the end of the world is actually the end of the world. AIDS does not disqualify any qualifications that the bearer possesses. So as we fight together and as we stand together, let us keep in mind the saying that goes, we are each other's harvest. We are each other's business. We are each other's magnitude and bond. We are our brother's keeper. They say that if you live for a purpose, hard work is not an option but a necessity. It is our sole purpose as humanity to fulfill the obligation to protect each other. And if we work hard, and if we work tirelessly, we'll be able to create an AIDS-free world. And one thing is for certain, hard work has never betrayed anybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was Lisa from Zimbabwe, and she's an amazing, amazing artist. And I am so excited that we have young women who are coming on board to make sure that we get this right. So she talked about the power of unity, and I'm so excited because the solution lies in our collective strength. Thank you so much, Lisa. Please do follow her. She's an amazing, amazing upcoming spoken word artist. So now we are going to get into our panel discussion. And I'm so excited because we have the young woman from the Nerve Center, which is part of the Education Plus initiative itself. So now I'm going to introduce our panel. We have got Anita, who is from Benin. She's a young parliamentarian and advocate for women's rights. So Anita, can you just wave, girl? We're so excited to have you with us. So excited. So we also
Thank you, Azal.
Right. We also have Jennifer Kayombo from Tanzania. She's an SDG youth advocate and she's a girl activist. Jennifer, can you just wave so that we also see that you're with us? Yes, girl, I love the positivity. And we also have Fatima Gomez from Gambia. She's a woman boss ambassador. She's very passionate about girl empowerment. Fatima, if you're here with us, can you just wave so that we also... Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, girl. I love this space. You know, I am always motivated whenever I see young women who are in the same space and bringing in all the solutions and the innovation. Girls, I'm so proud of you. So I'm going to start with Anita. Anita, you're part of the Education Plus initiative, and I'm sure that you're passionate about education. So we want to know, why do you think it is very important to focus on secondary education, especially for this initiative in our response to HIV? Over to you, Anita.
Thank you, Azal. Thank you very much for your motivating introduction. I'm going to start by telling that it would be great if in the constantly evolving world in which we are living, the future of the young girl was hardly more mortgaged, especially since her depends on everyone. The fact is that more and more, only primary basic education is showing its many limits. After this, girls are really able to read and to talk in national language. But after, what are they going to become? What means do they get to empower themselves? Unfortunately, it does not open any more doors of working in their fulfillment. This is the reason of being of the Education Plus initiative, and it means that we are no more there only to facilitate access to classrooms for girls at as least time, but also to above all to keep them there is that they can continue their studies for as long and far enough. They will thus be able to climb the ladder, make better use of their potential and participate as boys and men their peers at the same level of the development. Why could not they? We are convinced of the same will and the capacity to fill the void, and are determined to bring there. We are aware of the challenges to be met in achieving that girls require is not the least intellectual baggage, not. Thus, high school education will open the doors of university studies for in-depth research toward the solution to global problems that she also able to solve for a different future and a better. Thank you very much, Azza.
Thank you so much, Anita, for those powerful words telling us that education actually opens opportunities for girls. And I could not agree with you. So thank you so much, Anita, for that. That was really, really brilliant. So I'll come to you, Jenny. Jenny, you are passionate about girl empowerment. And from the HEAD documentary that we have seen, 1 in 3 girls have actually experienced some form of gender-based violence, which is sad that we are still experiencing such even in 2021. And this is a stumbling block for us in ending HIV and AIDS. What are your thoughts about that, Jenny?
Thank you so much, Hazel. Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's so very sad. And to me, I feel like gender-based violence, it's rooted on gender inequality issues, harmful cultural practices, but also improper use of power. I think we're in a community whereby we're having a lot of good policies, a lot of good laws, but the only problem comes with implementation. And implementation of these policies and laws is the one that making these cases rise every now and then. We have seen young girls are being raped, and still the perpetrators or people who are doing that, they're still roaming around in our communities. No action is taking place. We have seen that young girls are being raped with members of their families. In such a cases, they're just ending up at family level. They don't go further. So I think we are still holding on cultural norms which are very negative, and they truly have negative impacts in the lives of adolescent girls and young women in our community. But also I feel like there's a need of continuous sensitizing and raising public awareness on our communities, because there is still a problem of knowing the consequences of abusing or conducting some gender-based violence acts. Like most of the times when we advocate or when we raise awareness, people will be like, what are the consequences, or what influenced me of not to beat a woman, or influenced me to decide to bring a girl into school, or influence me not to rape a young girl. So I think we really need to continue raising awareness to the public, especially at cultural level, in terms of cultural leaders, in terms of parents, in terms of religious leaders, on together or collectively, how are we going to work to make sure our communities knows the consequences, the risks that they create when they conduct gender-based violence act to adolescent girls and young women. And I think also we need to start conducting interventions to adolescent girls and boys, but also children, because as we are raising children, I think they're in a better position of understanding what is good, what is bad, what is wrong, and what is right. So maybe if we have to reach a time, we should not only starting raising our children in a proper way to understand what is good and what is bad, so that we could reduce or eliminate all acts of gender-based violence. Yeah, thank you, Hazel.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for telling us the power of public awareness and making sure that we also include the duty bearers, we also include men as key equal partners. Thank you so much. That was really powerful. And also coming to you, Fatima. So we have seen lots of statistics going around, we have seen, especially according to UN Women, that over 243 million girls have experienced either sexual of physical violence. This is sad. But what makes matters worse, Fatima, is that we have seen the rise of online-based violence, which has been perpetuated by, the worldwide use of technology, social media, with this whole lockdown, people at home and they nothing to do other than social media. So what is your thoughts on that as an adolescent girl? Over to you.
Online gender-based violence. It's something that's obviously it's a form of gender-based violence. And obviously, also includes young girls and women. And if you look at it, we are in a digital generation. So obviously, we need social media. We need all of these digital platforms to be able to to evolve along with the world. But then, if you have social media and then you're trying with the vision of trying to project the work that you do, trying to just brand yourself and also make an impact in the world because it's a digital world, and then you just go there and then somebody else somewhere just thinks that the online platform is theirs and then just say something very unpleasant to you and you don't even know how to react. But I think why online gender-based violence is on the rise is simply because there's not a lot of penalties attached to it. Because the best that you can do is to report them to that particular platform. So when it's on Twitter, you report on Twitter to the administration of Twitter, and then they'll say they do something about it. But there's not something that you can track on the progress of it. And online gender-based violence is just like gender-based violence, a form of gender-based violence, and all of it can affect you mentally. Most of the victims of online gender-based violence end up just shutting down all of their social media because they also need to take care of themselves. So with regards to that, one thing I'm gonna say is I can remember earlier this year when we had the Generation Equality Forum. There's one of the recommendations from that forum that to have the CEOs of these social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, to just develop ways and strategies that even those that are abused online, especially women and girls, to be able to have ways that they can track the progress of the reports that they make to them. So they can also, even though, because if most of the people that perpetuate this always say, how is it violence? And I'm behind my phone just saying something, how is it violence? I think it's really important that we also use digital ways to be able to, develop strategies and ways and mechanisms that we can help to curb online gender-based violence. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fatima, because we have had so much, especially on Twitter. Twitter is now the new, in my country, we call it the new parliament, because people are free to talk whatever they want to say, but they actually don't know its implication on people. And thank you so much for actually pinning that it actually affects your mental health, which is something that is very, very critical. So I'm going to go back to Anita, and I can see that our chat is very active. People are also following up and they're also sending in their contributions. Thank you so much to everyone. And please do keep them coming. We want to see what you want to say. Be part of the conversation, because this is what this platform is all about. So Anita, looking at this year's theme, we're talking about ending AIDS. We're talking about ending inequalities. From your experience, I also understand that you are a young parliamentarian. How can we get more young people like yourself to join this fight of ending AIDS, of ending inequalities? Because we don't want to come here next year again, still talking about the same issues. Over to you, Anita. Anita, if you are speaking, you're on mute.
Thank you, Azol. HIV remains a reality in Africa and around the world. As we know, we have always not definitive cure for the disease, who constitutes a big problem since many years. For the moment, we are educating young people on healthy behaviors to adopt for avoid the disease. Younger males anymore contract it. This is the challenge because they have today enough information about it. The virus is transmitted from blood, and although there are several routes, but sexual contraction deserves special attention. Thus, UNET tells us that the probability of being infected through sexual intercourse is all the higher, the more the risk is imminent. Then, in order to obtain more voice to eradicate it definitively, I propose more of blades. We need to have a deeply partnership with governments of countries and other different public or private agents for those to which we are accustomed. It will help for sensitizations on concrete facts observed over the years for victims of HIV/AIDS to tell as well to everybody how is it very important to take care of himself and fight against the contamination. So that I suggest that in order not to expose victims, to use cartoons and illustrative tests, those we have the merit of moving the interlocutors to make our voices heard rightly. International institution could descend our to younger association and follow them by encouraging actions in favor of health, stopping and facilitating access to preventive services as free, depilatory, and preservatives. This fight is not the fight of 16 days, more one of them. It is a daily combat to which I invite all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anita. I loved what you say. Let's make use of the existing platform, the digital platforms where the young people are. Let's go there and tell them about HIV. Let's tell them that they are also part of the solution. Let's make use of collaborations and partnerships, and let's make these services available to them. Thank you so much, Anita. And to those who are following this conversation, please, if you have any question, if you have any comment, please just put it on the chat box. Please, we need to also see what do you think when in terms of getting young people to join this fight. So I'll also invite Jenny to come. Jenny, if you're here, can you just, we still need your energy, girl. Great. So Jenny, in a few words, what can you tell our government, our policymakers, our donors, the importance of investing in not only quality, but also inclusive education, especially for adolescent girls? Over to you.
Well, I think the very important and first thing I will tell the government and policymakers and decision makers in general, I believe we need much more representation of young people in decision-making structures, because as much as the government is planning, strategizing, implementing young people's activity or issues, we need the voice of young people, because we are the one who will know our problem much more better, and probably maybe we are the one who are having better solutions on advising on what should be done and what should not be done. So I think we truly need more young people in decision-making platforms. And I think they have to understand that education, it's the only key that can help adolescent girls and young women to be economically stable, to be much more resilient, but can also facilitate to reduce gender equality in our communities, because gender inequality is something that exposes a lot of us in a lot of problems. And for sustainability issues, I think we need to have better and good policies and laws that will be much more friendly, not only to enroll majority or a large number of young girls in schools, but also to keep young girls in schools, because that's the problem that we are facing. We are enrolling a lot of young girls, but a lot of young girls are dropping due to different reasons, including getting pregnant at a very age, due to improper menstrual hygiene management at school. Young girls are walking in a very long distance to access school, and etc. So I think we need to build some hostels. I think we need to create a better environment when young girls are in their menstrual health. I think we need to have a very free gender-based violence, especially sexual harassment when young girls are in school environment, and etc. So I think lastly, we need more domestic funding, and the government should prioritize girls' education in the implementations of government plans and strategies. Thank you so much, Hazel.
Thank you so much, Jenny. And there's a follow-up to what you have said in the chat. So I'll still need you, Jenny, just for a few minutes. You talked about more representation of young women and especially young people. And in my country, we have 10 more seats for young people to join the parliament, which is so exciting. But we have a question from the chat. They are saying that, is representation effective when systems are patriarchal and violent on women? Because we have just been socialized that politics is always dirty. And if they see a young woman like myself saying, vote for me, what, and there's sexual harassment within the political spheres, there's a lot to talk about. So is that effective when we talk about including young people? Over to you, Jenny.
Thank you so much, Heather. I think having an opportunity to be in those platforms, it's one thing. And using those platforms to advocate on our own issue, to stand still, it's another thing. Because at the end of the day, we need to push harder. And we are the one who knows our problems as young people. No, even if we sit today and say, let us not having those representation because of the system, because of our voices, and still we are missing a chance. So I think it's so very important to seek for those opportunities and making sure that the young people who are having those opportunities are using them effectively, majority of young people that they are representing. And as you know, changes take time. It will go slowly, but at the end of the day, will benefit out of it. So I will still encourage these decision-making structures who can represent us well, who can raise the voices on behalf of other young people, regardless of the system, regardless of the problems or the obstacles that they are going to face.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. That was brilliant. And I love the saying that says, if they don't invite you to the table, bring your own chair. So even if they don't invite us to be part of it, let's make sure that we also join these spaces, because power is not gracious is enough that it can be given to us. We need to work for it. We need to make sure that we include ourselves in different representation structures. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for reminding us. So I'll also call upon Fatima to join us on the stage. Welcome, girl. So Fatima, you talked about online based violence, and there's a girl like me who is listening to this conversation, but she has faced some cyberbullying, some body shaming. There's now revenge porn on Instagram. It's a whole lot that the girls are facing, and she's listening. So what can you say to this girl who's listening, who has faced this type of violence, especially on Twitter, on Instagram? Over to you, Fatima.
Thank you so much, Hazel. So with regards to that, one thing I always say in regards to, body shaming and cyberbullying, especially body shaming, because most of the time, I'm a victim of body shaming. But the thing that always helps me is that, because I prioritize my self-validation over what other people say. So for example, if I wake up in the morning and remind myself that my productivity does not depend on what other people think about me or how they think that I look like. It depends on what the most important thing is, how I see myself, because that is what actually matters and that is what actually counts. But if I keep depending on other people try to label me that I look like this and I look like that, even if I look like whatever they think I look like, at the end of the day, what do I think? That is what really matters. But if I actually keep believing keep listening to what they say, keep trying to, seek validation from what they think I look like, I'll always, I'll always get to believe them, eventually get to believe them, and I'll not even see myself in a positive way. With regards to regards to cyberbullying, even though I've realized, and I've also realized that also it's also shown by study that a lot of people that perpetuate cyberbullying, which is obviously done on digital media, they most of them, if you look beyond their phones, most of them are usually very insecure about how they look. So if they feel that way, they try to project it on someone else, and when they project it on you, now they don't get to worry about themselves. They don't get to worry about their own insecurities because they've already projected it to you, and then you have to think about it, and then you have to worry about that. So what I need to say to any person listening to this, especially if it's an adolescent girl, young girl, think about yourself, prioritize what you always, whatever you're doing, think about what you worry about what you think about it. And do not always try to prioritize other people, what they say about you. Because if you continue doing that, you will never feel satisfied. You'll never be enough in your eyes. So what also with regards to cyberbullying, an issue is I cannot say that it's not gonna affect you. It's definitely going to affect you. It is definitely going to affect you, cyberbullying, especially if you do not expect it. So especially young girls, adolescents, you're going to the media for the first time. You've never learned about cyberbullying. You don't know what happens there. All you want to do is to also have a presence online. And the end of the day, you see somebody else somewhere is just trying to, use yourself. It's gonna try to use it. So what you need to do as a young girl, because you need to understand the world that you live in is already against you. So if you're not very vigilant, if you're not very observant, you're not very careful, it will continue making it against you. It will continue making this world hell for you. So you need to be, as a very young girl, you need to be very observant. You need to be very careful in the world that you live in. Also, you need to not always prioritize what other people think about you, so you can be able to, not feel bad about who you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fatima, for that. And I love what you say, that my productivity does not depend on what other people are saying. I think I think it's very important. I think every girl needs to actually internalize and localize this. We need to actually realize that our power, our voice is our power. Our power is not what others say about us. So even if on Twitter, we need to actually understand the world that we're living in, that, it's not always space. It's actually, it's actually very dangerous nowadays, especially on Instagram. If you just post your picture and then some guys just saying, oh, you've got a big tummy, or, you're black, or you're dark, or something like that, or your hair, something like that. So I think that we actually need to take care of ourselves, take care of our mental health, as we are part of this fight. So before I actually conclude on our panel, I just have a quick question for our audience. We have been listening, our gracious audience. We have been listening. We have been part of this conversation since we started. So I also have another quick question, another pop quiz, which is so exciting. So in terms of HIV prevention, what does the acronym ABC stands for? In terms of HIV prevention, what does ABC stands for? So let us know in the chat. Gloria will be assisting us to know who got this right. Otherwise, I just want to thank you, ladies, for being part of this amazing. You guys are amazing. Fatima, Jennifer, Anita, thank you so much for the amazing work that you're doing in your respective countries. Oh, we have a question for Fatima. This is so exciting. So Fatima, if you are still with us, is there a way we can start a counter movement in the cyberspace? And I agree with you, Anika, because there's no cyber security, especially where I come from. There's no cyber security. So Fatima, if you're still with us, there's a question: is there a way we can start a counter movement in the cyberspace? Over to you, Fatima, quickly.
Okay, thank you so much, Annika, for that question. So regards to that, I think one thing we can do, because best we understand what experiences we have online, and we cannot allow other people to do that. But so we have social media platforms. What can we do? We can create an online movement. So first, like I was saying, when we had the gender equality forum like that, so some of these recommendations arose, and then we were talking about trying to create a movement or a movement or protest to these CEOs of these social media platforms to develop more necessary strategies on ways that we can be able to have more protective ways that women girls can be online, and not just, you know, just be there and then just have somebody else just, you know, shrink their confidence and their this thing online. So what we can do as young people, as young women, young girls, what we can do is, it's actually possible. So one way we can do is just have trying to target to the right agencies to be able to have more protective and safe online presence for young girls and women. So it needs to be a priority. And how can they do that if we actually form a collective movement? Because if we are too big and if we are too much, if we come as a collective, we'll be too loud to not be ignored. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fatima. As I always say, that the solution lies in our collective strength. If we start an online movement to counter cyberbullying, we need to speak with one voice as young women, because this is something that we are all facing, not only in Africa, but even beyond that. So we need to make sure that we come with one voice. We need to actually use that social media for good. So thank you so much, Fanita. Thank you so much, Annette, for asking that question. Thank you so much, Janita and Anita. I am proud of you. You know, Sub-Saharan Africa is proud of you girls. And thank you so much for being part of this. So I'm going to go to my chart to see, to my class actually, to see if people got this right. Yes, they did. We have abstinence, be faithful, use condoms. Abstinence, be faithful, use condoms. That's correct. Let's abstain if we can't. Let's be faithful. Let's use condoms. Let's have information. Let's make decisions based on the information point of view. And Gloria, I can see that our chat was on fire, girl. It was on fire, and I'm so excited to be part of this conversation. So I just want to thank our panel for giving us that wisdom, that we as young people, we as young women, we have what it takes to be part of this. We are not part of the problem, we are part of the solution. It's high time we shift the discourse and change the narrative. Thank you so much, everyone, and Gloria, over to you.
Thank you very much, Hazel. And what an amazing panel we had, guys. I can't believe this was amazing. And there was so much that has been said, just starting from the chat. You know, what is ABC? It's abstinence, it's being faithful, it's condom use. And on the condom use, I will remind us, or as long as you're sexually active, there's one thing that you shouldn't do. You should not compromise. You should condomize. To do that, follow the Condomize campaign social media handle on Twitter and Facebook. There's so much informative information for you on how to prevent HIV, STIs, and planned pregnancies. It is, you know, a very youth-friendly, young people-friendly platform. Please go on and share. Yeah, so I want to really thank our panelists. I want to thank my co-moderator, Hazel, and I want to echo some of the words that they have said. This is not everything they had to say. It's just 1 hour, and I can tell you these ladies have so much to say, and this conversation is going to go on. This is not the only time we're going to have this conversation. We're going to keep talking until our voices come through. And I really like what was said in one of the discussions. If they do not invite you to the table, bring your own chair. And what more can we say? We are saying engage men and boys. We're saying track progress on reporting of violence. We're saying strengthen our global solidarity on ending AIDS, spread awareness using digital platforms, for example, social media and Twitter and TikTok and everything. You know, we need more domestic funding and prioritization of girls' education. Change does take time, but regardless, we will keep going. And I can't even re-emphasize that more than it has already been re-emphasized. So thank you everybody that has taken time to log in, to you know, take time and be part of this conversation. I can tell you that this event will be available on YouTube. For some of our friends that couldn't make it on time, it's early morning in New York and late evening in, you know, the rest of the world. This conversation will still be live on YouTube whenever you feel to go back and check what has been said. And I want to thank all my co-hosts, all the panelists that have taken time to prepare for this event. Thank you so much. I know we are 10 minutes early, but I will just release everybody to go back and go about their business. But everybody that has taken time to come to the event, thank you so much. And we have the same video that started our event that is going to play, that is going to, give a snapshot of what the panel was and who their names are. And in case you really want to follow them privately, they are on social media, you can access them. And for the film that was featured, the Her Integrated Notion, it has been shared in the chat box. Please go and like and support and comment on social media, on YouTube. Thank you very much.